Well, y'all, I did it. I bought a semi. I've already done 2 jobs. Of course, I didn't have my GoPro. I'm gonna film this with my phone. The GoPro is at a buddy's house that welded the parts for the grapple saw there. So hopefully I'll have a video of that getting put together soon. But anyway, I got tired of pulling the 309 with this truck. It's just a little uncomfortable, you know. It's just, I mean, it pulled it, but then again, now I do have, before y'all freak out, I do have a low boy that I'm probably going to go get soon. I just don't know when I can go get it. It's about 4 hours away. It's really the only thing reasonable I could find. Kind of what I wanted. I want something short to get in and out. But found this truck. I bought it from Tag Equipment, or Tag Truck Center here in Tupelo, Mississippi. I felt like I got a good deal on it. They was asking like 32 something, whatever, but I gave them 25. Truck's got 600 something thousand on it. The only thing I hope that don't bite me in the butt is, of course, you can see it's an Ozark truck. It's fleet. It was a fleet truck. Should have been maintained regularly. I understand not everything is done by the book, but more than likely it was done by the book versus buying it from an individual, which all I could find was just clapped out junk that they wanted, you know, $30,000 to $40,000. It's just stupid. Like, people's got to get real eventually. But what I did find is I got a gooseneck. You know, I wish now that I would have got the actual fifth wheel tongue, I guess you'd call it, whatever, that goes up in there instead of putting it on the ball, because the ball, like, you add another pivot point right there. But what I did have to do to make it a lot better is I put some wood up under that, the fifth wheel, to kind of hold it more in place. Because before I just hooked the gooseneck up to it and drove down the road empty, and it was just, I didn't feel like that was just too great. But anyway, like I said, I've pulled it a few times now, and just learning. It's got a 10-speed in it. Just learning the difference in this transmission and the dump truck is just night and day. Like, it took me a little bit to get used to the dump truck. Once I figured out, you know, you got to clutch it every time and whatnot. It's a 6-speed. But then getting in this thing and floating the gears and figuring out the high and low, you know, it's the first time I've ever been in anything like that. So it took me a little bit to adjust to, but once I figured out the transmission and, you know, the proper way to do it, I've gotten a lot better and a lot more comfortable with it. But definitely a lot better pulling this thing than with that. I'm not knocking my truck now. Y'all don't think I'm hating on it, because I ain't. I love the truck. But I needed something a little more heavy duty, a little more, you know, made for something like that. But anyway, it's really the black wheels, you know, that sold me. No, I'm kidding. But the truck is not hurt. Like, I feel like it's pretty clean. Pretty clean truck, pretty solid truck. It's definitely a lot nicer than really what I needed. or was kind of looking for, but at the same time, you know, I don't have to worry about just, like I said, clapped out junk. But it's been parked since yesterday, still holding there. But yeah, I mean, I'm tickled with it. Like, that's what little kids' dreams are made of right here. You got your truck and your trailer and your equipment. So said I'm excited. The paint is oxidized. It's got that little rough spot in it right there. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull it up in the shop right here. Y'all don't worry about my shop, it's filthy. I'm gonna pull it up in the shop, and I bought some stuff. I'm gonna see if I can kind of restore the paint on it a little bit. It may or may not. I don't know what they tried to do at the dealer, but I know they touched it up in spots, black paint and whatnot. And I meant to get some paint because I was going to touch up some of those spots, but the only thing is it still got the def on it, or the DPF filter, not the def. It don't have def. But I mean, everything works on it. I locked it in. I've had to lock it in a couple times. So I greased it up, and I did have to. This wiring is not permanent. We kind of had to do this to kind of get by, so I could hook the trailer, the gooseneck, up to it. Of course, the gooseneck is wired for the RV. I tried doing it on the plug on the truck. I bought enough cable I could just unhook that one and then plug in the cable for the gooseneck hookup back here. But truck wiring and RV wiring, you can't get the running tail lights to really work correctly if you try to do it with a plug, because on a semi commercial they have a dedicated wire for the trailer stop lamps. So it's a little tricky to do that with the RV style, but all we did was we spliced into the to these lights, the backup lights and whatever, and it worked like it should. Of course, some of you may say, "Hey, stupid, no, you're supposed to do it this way." But if y'all know how to get it to work correctly with that plug, I would rather use that. But like I said, like, this is just temporary for right now, because once I get a low boy, whatever, then I probably won't never hook up the gooseneck back to this thing. I shouldn't have to. I hope actually that low boy is actually a little shorter than this setup, which it may not be. I think the low boy is like 25 foot. It may be a little longer, I don't know. But anyway, stopping it, of course the brakes don't work on the gooseneck, but the thing has no problem stopping it anyway. I wasn't worried about the brakes on it right now. If I wanted to, I could put a brake controller on the truck and all that, but I wasn't worried about that because this truck stops it just fine without any brakes on the trailer. So anyway, I'm gonna get this thing pulled up in here, and I'm gonna see if I can restore some of this oxidized paint. If not, I ain't worried about it. But here she is. I'm excited. I'm gonna get some. I bought these the other day, and I couldn't remember if the caps, it had the center caps on or not, but I bought these, and I should have just went ahead and got those, or the center caps, but I couldn't remember enough. I think I'm gonna get the chrome piece that goes over the center of those. And I went to the Mac dealer, it's just right down the road, because I was trying to find a seven round plug. Nobody had one, so I stopped in there and they had one, but I was going to get the back covers then, but he said you had to know the diameter of the hub there, and I didn't, so And I also didn't remember the cutouts for the front, so that's why I didn't get those. But I'll measure them and I'll 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's got 6 little slots that needs to be in those. I'll get them put on there. I think it'll look good with just the chrome center caps right there. But other than that, man, I'm excited. I have fun driving it. It's a little, well, just me being inexperienced, it's a little scary, but I've gotten a lot used to it now. It's just so much easier than, because that's what I worried with the most about this truck, or what I hated the most about going to a different job. Is like, man, now I got to pull this thing, and now I'm not near as worried about it. Just takes a little less stress off, I guess. So anyway, enough of me rambling. Let me get in here and see if I can polish this thing. Alright, so what I've bought is, well, I do gotta change the oil in my truck. I bought fiber towel. Bought this for the final wax, and then just some rubbing compound. Let's see what that'll do. Okay, so I just did like a little small area right there, and you can tell a huge difference. Like I said, that stuff will be the final after I get all this. You can see how much, man, I'm gonna be tired by the end of this. I should have bought one of them little buffer things, but I didn't know how well this was gonna go. But let me set y'all up on a time lapse, and I'll just kind of do one little side right here. Whew, I'm about out of breath. I should have bought one of them little power balls, but y'all get the idea. I'm gonna do that door real quick and see how close I can get it back to the original right there. So y'all just hang tight. I got a lot of work to do. Okay, there she is, all cleaned up. I was able to get a lot of that oxidation out. It really needs another good round of what I did. That compound stuff, and then just a regular finish wax really helped it out a lot. Of course, you can barely see. You can barely see the. I probably can't on camera. You can barely see the Ozark lettering, so that's how much it brought it back. Like I said, I'm excited about it. I think it's cool to have. Really opens the door to other possibilities. And I kind of ran out of time, and you can kind of see the difference right here on the back. There's your difference. And I'll do that this evening or tonight. But that took me about 3 hours or so. My shoulders are tired. But I'm gonna take this just down the road a couple miles to the next job. Luckily it's not that far. And then I should video that job. I gotta go get my GoPro. But anyway, there's the new rig. Y'all let me know what you think. And I appreciate y'all. Alright, adios.